Francis Ngannou for the Tyson Fury fight.
That's crazy. Is he?
Yeah.
That old school, that customato, that old school.
I mean, I don't know how much he's going to change his style. What I will say, though, is Francis Ngannou hits like a freight train.
Correct.
Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, a fight that was not supposed to happen in our universe. At least that's what most fans thought. But what do we see? At the initiative of the Predator, the guys managed to negotiate and agree on their showdown at the end of October. If this strange match managed to become a reality, can another miracle happen? The victory of Francis Ngannou? The likelihood of such an outcome is so small that you probably only see it under a microscope. However, let's approach the matter seriously and consider what strengths of the former UFC champion could help him defeat the heavyweight king, Tyson Fury. Today's video, my friends, will be dedicated to 5 reasons why Francis Ngannou will defeat Tyson Fury. Please don't forget to like and leave a 4-word comment, and also subscribe so you never miss new videos. And let's get started. Number 5. Underestimation of the opponent. Without this point, considering all the others wouldn't make sense. We all understand that a serious Tyson Fury, who has gone through a training camp and is in optimal physical shape, can laser Cameroon's fighter with his eyes even at the stare down. But will the Gypsy King work up a sweat against some MMA fighter? Many of Fury's followers say that all he needs is to get off the couch or box with a shadow for 2 minutes, and that would be enough for a fight with Ngannou. I'm almost sure Tyson thinks something similar. However, even when performing at a championship level in boxing, the Briton hasn't always stepped into the ring in his optimal form. Remember his first fight after a layoff of his encounter with Otto Wallen? This time, the Gypsy King will be up against an MMA fighter who has always been ridiculed for clumsy overhands and weak cardio. Facing such an opponent, Tyson might relax entirely, and that's an opportunity for Ngannou. All combat sports gurus know that the most dangerous fighter is the one who's underestimated, and this time, the whole world doesn't believe in the Predator, which might give him extra strength. We know very well that for Francis, facing the boxing king of our generation is his main and currently only goal in life. He dreamt about it for over 2 years, turned down a multi-million-dollar contract with the UFC, and waited as long as he needed to finally reach his goal. Some absolutely inhuman determination and belief in his success helped Ngannou secure this fight, and he has already done too much to go back. Victory in this bout can forever change Francis's life. He knows it, so he'll give 100% effort and act with maximum dedication. Coupled with the wild underestimation from Tyson Fury, such an opponent might give Ngannou a chance to win. Number 4. Speed. Almost all his life, Ngannou has been called a mediocre striker. He doesn't have a jab, his legs resemble 2 huge concrete pillars, and it's hard to imagine they could produce any impressive movements. Francis's defense is quite something. It's practically non-existent. So how did someone like that climb to the top of the MMA world and score knockouts in 12 out of his 17 fights? The thing is, 2 fundamental qualities in Ngannou's style are strength and speed. With the devastating power he possesses, no one in the UFC heavyweight division has had anything like it before. However, without the necessary speed, all of the Cameroonian's animalistic strength would be utterly useless. At this point, nature entered the chat again and made this mountain not only frighteningly strong, but also incredibly fast. Many have called Francis an anomalous human, and to some extent, I agree. Just think about it. If all boxers and fighters could develop the same exceptional hand speed, wouldn't they have done it? The Predator is genuinely gifted, and few have been as fortunate with natural abilities. Moreover, Ngannou has worked extensively to make himself even faster and more efficient. Look at all the MMA highlights in Ngannou's career. In each of them, you can see his strikes flying at an extraordinary speed, which managed to neutralize the knockout artist's speed with his movement and wrestling. but in the reeling faster that he left his opponent no hope of victory. Yes, you might say that the fight will be taking place with different gloves, and in those gloves, Ngannou won't be able to throw punches as quickly. I believe that for someone naturally gifted with such speedy qualities, a few extra ounces on the hands won't be a problem, at least while he's fresh. But how long can he stay energetic? That's an entirely different question. Number 3. Clinch. A rather controversial aspect, and there's a lot to talk about here. On one hand, Tyson Fury is considered a true master of boxing clinch. Due to his remarkable height and arm length, clinching is an integral part of his unique style, acting as a link between all elements of his fighting. In the clinch, the Gypsy King feels secure, avoids unnecessary strikes, and can effectively tie up his opponent to the point where even Deontay Wilder was tired by the third round in their second fight. In Ngannou's case, things are a bit different. Clinching in MMA significantly differs from boxing, and it's not to say that the Cameroonian frequently utilized it for damage or passive control in his fights. However, we mustn't forget that this form of interaction with opponents in mixed martial arts is practiced as often as others. So Ngannou certainly won't be lost in it and will know what to do. The most obvious thing we can say about the clinch now is that Fury will definitely use it. When Ngannou moves forward, which he surely will, Tyson will have to tie him up tightly, because otherwise the Predator's long arms might reach his head. During these clinch moments, an interesting battle will unfold, and who will come out on top is yet to be determined. Fury certainly won't be aiming to inflict damage, he'll tie up and wait until Francis starts expending energy. On the other hand, Ngannou might come up with something interesting, like working the body. None of Fury's opponents have caused him trouble in close quarters. The bronze bomber, whose strength is certainly on par with Ngannou's, yielded to all of his opponent's actions in the clinch, just waiting for it to be over or trying to break free. Thanks to his experience and devastating power, Ngannou might become the first to truly engage Fury in the clinch and break his super defined body with his African sledgehammers. Such a tactic has its drawbacks, including the potential to tire more quickly, but as we've said, Francis will be putting it all on the line, so the clinch might become his key to victory. Number 2. Unpredictability. This reason might be a bit unusual, but I believe it's something we should all pay attention to. All MMA fans are accustomed to seeing Francis charge at his opponents with the goal of decapitating them. He resembles a rhino, charging through everything in his path, often without regard to a game plan. However, he hasn't always fought the same way in every bout. Granted, such fights have existed and make up the majority, but in contrast, we can recall the second fight against Stipe Miocic, when Ngannou fought conservatively, waited for his opponent's actions, and then skillfully countered in the second round, not just knocking out the champion, but meeting him with an intelligent counterattack. In his encounter with Cyril Gane, in which the Predator stepped into the cage with a knee injury, he not only surprised but left everyone gaping. From a brute with wild overhands, he transformed into a wrestler almost of Olympic caliber. Of course, such skills won't aid him in this particular fight. So why am I telling you all this? It's important to understand that Ngannou can surprise and effectively prepare for his opponent. Beneath all his straightforwardness lies an astonishing ability to rapid. In comparison to MMA, boxing significantly limits a fighter's arsenal, so Ngannou won't have as many keys to victory, but he's not preparing for this fight alone. He's under the guidance of the great Mike Tyson. Many criticize the Iron Mike because he attempts to mold all his students in his image, but in Ngannou's case, this might work. The Cameroonian loves and knows how to play the lead role, takes punches well, and obliterates his target with his first hit, much like a young Tyson. Naturally, Iron Mike won't be able to teach the UFC behemoth his signature style, especially given the few months left before the fight. However, he's entirely capable of offering a couple of wise pointers or devising interesting tricks that could help Francis contend with such a towering opponent. Ngannou has repeatedly shocked the world. Who knows, perhaps his favorite of fate will do it once more. Number 1. Lucky Punch. Francis is strong. No, not just strong, but incredibly powerful. Every day of his life, his inhuman strength walks hand in hand with him, and over the years in the sport, he has learned to wield it fully. We were just talking about the clinch, and it's precisely here where Francis's devastating power might come in handy like never before. Thanks to his power, he might prevent Fury from executing his usual work and even turn such situations to his advantage, but all of this remains hypothetical for now. What's real is the chance for a lucky punch. This mystical, almost ethereal opportunity should never be discounted, especially when discussing monsters with intravenously injected dynamite like Ngannou. In each of his first MMA fights, Francis found and utilized his chance, so oddly enough, he possesses colossal experience in this regard. Additionally, we remember how Deontay Wilder took advantage of a similar opportunity several times throughout their trilogy. 2 epic knockdowns in the third encounter, 2 in the first. Just after the legendary knockdown in the 12th round, Fury still hears the echoes, and if Ngannou lands something similarly remarkable, the effect will undoubtedly be just as profound. Of course, the Cameroonian is a boxer of an entirely different caliber than Wilder, and some argue that the Bronze Bomber hits even harder than Ngannou. But they're birds of a feather, and the minimal difference won't change much. Yet again, considering the level of skill, particularly Fury's defense, landing a successful strike on him will prove to be quite challenging for Francis. However, this is where his main goal lies, landing a successful punch. If circumstances align in such a way that one of his famed overhands, or better yet, an uppercut, manages to connect with the Gypsy King's head, Francis's chances of victory will instantly skyrocket, and we might witness one of the greatest upsets of modern times. Everything mentioned in this video, speculations and assumptions. Objectively, Francis Ngannou's chances of winning this fight are nearly non-existent. The disparity in boxing skills between the two is just too substantial, and overcoming it in the short time Ngannou had is impossible. On the other hand, we can't help but root for the Predator. This guy started from a sand mine and is now set to battle one of the highest paid boxers of our time. Such a success story cannot help but inspire, and it's tempting to believe in Ngannou. However, imagining him standing over a knocked out Tyson Fury is an immensely difficult task. If this does actually happen, we could officially dub Francis the person who hacked life itself.